ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special edition of Pipe Bomb Sessions that I will be covering my own predictions for SummerSlam's two-night event in MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, guys. Shoot, a lot can happen in a lot of these matches. As I mentioned in my earlier episode this week, that hey man, I think WWE is gonna be try to be a little bit unpredictable right now. I think it's gonna be a good show. We have about 12 matches total going on at SummerSlam this year, and in my opinion, the card itself looks pretty well throughout. Man, I'm not really seeing as many like bad things about it versus how WrestleMania 41, I guess, way in that sense. But hey, I'm not hating it. I have no problem with a lot of these matches on these cards. I'm super excited about a certain few matches, especially that TLC match. That's going to be wild for the SmackDown WWE tag titles. However, now I kind of have a prediction of how, I guess, night 1 and night 2 will go. In my opinion, I think night 2 will be pretty well stacked together. Night 1 has a lot of low-key good matches. I think that's how WWE is doing it. Triple H is doing it, and I like it. I like the mindset, personally. Now, SummerSlam Night 1, Saturday night, I think that starts with none other than the man himself, the OTC Roman Reigns, and his cousin, Mr. Yeet himself. Main event, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Now, that's a tag team that's obviously came together, and they've been together for a little bit. Of course, this match is happening now because of Rollins being hurt and Rollins being out for, ladies and gentlemen, we still don't know how long this man's going to be out for. I said it last week, and I'll say it again right now. I mean, is it a work? Is it not? We don't know, and it's just so hard to figure out. I don't think it is, because now I don't see Rollins being mentioned, but is that the point to make us kind of like put him in the back of our head so he can show up at SummerSlam? Now, I'm not saying he's going to show up in this match, but he still could show up. This matchup, I believe, none other than the Tribal Chief and Jey Uso, they're going to be celebrating and opening SummerSlam off, yeeting together. Shit. That's a matchup that OTC, put your fingers up, ladies and gentlemen. He is taking that one. Second matchup that's happening night 1 is, now, from here on out, I'm not sure what's the order. Of course, we know our main event is going to be CM Punk and Gunther for the world title. Second matchup, I can see it honestly being maybe the Jade versus Tiffy match for the WWE Women's Championship. Now, this is a matchup where I was convinced Jade was winning 100%. That is up until Naomi cashed in and became champion herself. See, I feel like Tiffany's not going to lose. This is going to be another obstacle that she overcomes when people are doubting her. I'm going to go with my girl, Tiffany Stratton, to retain her woman's title. Now, follow that up with, I believe, maybe we see the Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause just for Karrion Kross making the PLE card. That in itself, I think, has been an accomplishment, especially everything that's been going on with Karrion and how the people really do want him out there. And hey, man, ask and you shall receive. We got more TV time with him. We got another match with him on Raw a couple weeks ago. And on top of that, we are now getting him on a PLE show. Night 1 of SummerSlam, of all shows. Now that is dope. In my opinion, I think Sammy takes this, but I just don't know where the story is going. Possibly, maybe it's just like to get Sammy and Carrion on the card. I get it. It's a big PLE. You want to have your main guys type of deal. But I'm like, I'm just not sure on where this leads to next. I do believe though, Sami Zayn will be standing tall and he will be the winner of this matchup. Now, next one. This is the matchup I'm sure everybody's been waiting for, and there is a question mark in this matchup. That is Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll, he has made a commitment to WWE for this matchup because my man's lost a lot of weight. My man's been training. My man, I heard, even relocate himself near the performance center just because he's that serious about this. I like that kind of commitment. I'm all for it. Honestly, fuck it. We'll give Jelly Roll and the Viper, Randy Orton, the win in this one. However, the question mark is with Drew McIntyre. Apparently, he's still stuck in the UK. Unsure if he's going to make it here. Unsure if he's getting here. I myself am a little unsure what's going on with it. I think Drew will be on SmackDown, and then officially we'll have this little gray cloud that's hovering. It'll disappear. I do believe Drew will be on SmackDown. It just makes sense to me. Maybe it's like a sneak attack attempt from Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre on Orton and Jelly Roll. That could be really be the play here by Drew. Drew likes, mind games and getting in people's heads. I like it. He's smart. He's a calculated guy. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's not getting the win though, unfortunately. And even crazier, I can't believe I'm saying this. I really do think Drew even may take the pin. That would be wild, now wouldn't it, guys? We'll see Jelly Roll and Randy Orton celebrating right after that. Now, next matchup is one that I myself am hoping and I am rooting for new tag titles to be crowned to new champions. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss versus the Judgment Days, Raquel and Roxanne. Of course, we've seen Roxanne sub in for Liv Morgan. Since she's been out, she's been one half of the tag champion. They've defended their titles. She's helped Raquel out. Seems like they're bonding well. And that bond's going to come to an end because one of them is going to be the reason why they lose those women's tag titles against Charlotte and Alexa. I feel like this is it. Put the titles on Charlotte and Alexa, and let's see what they got. I think people are already behind the whole tag team. People are really behind Charlotte. I think she's gotten like a new, kind of a new persona in a sense. Like, people are actually liking her. Like, she doesn't feel like she's being forced. This really feels like, to me, she's transitioning. Just like how Roman did from the big dog days until he became the tribal chief. That's the transition. People were like, oh, shoot, who's this guy now? Oh, this is new. We haven't seen this before. That is what I think is happening, in my honest opinion. So, I think we get new women's tag champs, and I'm all for it. Charlotte and Alexa all the way. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, that leads me to the main event. CM Punk versus the defending champ, Gunther. Now, Gunther and Punk's feud has been okay to good. The promo that they did on the Go Home Show Raw was excellent, I thought. Now, I don't know who wins. I keep saying Punk because, in my opinion, Punk wins, then Rollins can come out to cost him the title and take it from him. But Rollins is obviously hurt. Now, this is what comes back to my original point. Is it a work or is it not? I don't know, because this is confusing me. I'm seeing things where it could be a work, seeing things where it could not be a work. Like, I'm just not sure on what is actually going on with Seth freaking Rollins. Obviously, he's still the briefcase holder, and I don't know, like maybe he is hurt because Paul Heyman said that Punk doesn't, we don't got to worry about the briefcase because um, Seth Rollins does not need to cash it in until next June. See, to me, it's like, why would you mention that unless maybe he is hurt and they just want us to kind of be like, cool, we're on the waiting game for Rollins to rehab and get better and you know come out and freaking go crazy again. So, but what if this is all part of the plan? The Oracle, as he calls himself, and his prophecies, as what he says now. Paul Heyman's, this is the plan B that Paul Heyman told Bronson Reed about that Rollins was working on. What if plan B was him faking an injury? Or maybe he did get hurt, but the injury was not as serious at all to what they are making us think it is. That could be something. In my opinion, Punk wins, gets cashed in on. If Rollins legit hurt, Gunther wins, right? So, I guess maybe they just want to have Gunther stand tall at the end of the night. Or we really are getting CM Punk as our new world champion. And possibly even, maybe Punk doesn't even hold it that long. Maybe he's a transitional champ. We don't really know. Obviously, Punk's main goals, well, at least from what he told us, and what I still believe he just got mixed in here, was not technically winning the title. He only went after Cena because of a situation going on. And the Gunther matchup, I really truthfully do believe that the Gunther matchup was supposed to be different. But because of Rollins' injury, it's changed things. Unless Punk was always supposed to go in because Rollins is supposed to cash in. Regardless, my final pick, I'm gonna go with my man, the best in the world, CM Punk on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Whether he gets cashed in on and Rollins stands tall, or whether he stands tall himself to end the night, that's why that is the main event of night one. I could see it happening for sure. Now then, SummerSlam night 2. This is where things are interesting. I'm not sure on how they're going to actually start the night out. Now, that's where it's confusing. There's a few ways they can go. They can go the TLC matchup, kick it off with a bang again. They can go with, something as interesting as maybe even like Becky and Lyra matchup. I feel like that has a very, very good story behind it. Women's IC title. That title's been like elevated so much since Becky got it, and just since this rivalry's really started, I think that elevated that title to a new level, which is exactly what they needed and what they were looking for anyways. So that's working. Final thing, I think it's going to be the WWE tag title matchup in a TLC match. That is going to start off SummerSlam Night 2. Of course, the teams in there is Fraxium versus Rey Fenix and Andrade versus DIY versus the former champs, the Street Profits, versus the Motor City Machine Guns, and versus the Wyatt Six, who are the current tag champs. Now, this could be a fun matchup, man. I can't wait. Even when the Profits won their titles on that SmackDown, I was like, this should have been on Mania. Like, this was awesome. That was a great, great matchup on SmackDown. All these teams are going to show out. I have no doubts about that whatsoever. And in my opinion, I think the Wyatt Six retain here. I think that's the, I think we just have to get more layered into them kind of being back. I want to see more of Uncle Howdy. Currently, they're obviously involved in, it looks like the tag team division as a whole, But I would like to see Uncle Howdy eventually go down the line, go after, a singles title. Why not? Doesn't have to be a world title, but at least, a U.S. title, maybe even, an IC if they get moved back to Raw or something. But, hey, I have no problem with that. However, I do think Uncle Howdy's group, the Wyatt Six, do retain in what's going to be a wild and incredible TLC tag team title matchup. I think it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be good. I have no doubt about that. Now, the next matchup, in my opinion, is going to be Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Naomi for the Women's World Title. This matchup, I will not be surprised, is a 5 out of 5. We literally replaced the Mania matchup. Bianca is now replaced with Naomi going in. That's all it is. Naomi's the champ going in. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, very, very simply and easily, she's going to be walking out as champ. She may steal one, is what I'm predicting, as her way to retain. Or maybe she just straight up beats both women. Asserts her dominance type of situation. Regardless, Naomi will be moving on, and even looking ahead, we'll be seeing her versus Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris. I believe that she is going to be the title holder going into that matchup, and that's going to be an excellent matchup in itself. However, for SummerSlam Night 2, Triple Threat Women's match, Naomi taking it. No doubt about it in my mind. Now, next matchup, this man has been hunting the IC title for months at this point, I feel like. AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, versus Dominic Mysterio for Dom's IC title. I think Styles walks in without the title, and he's going to walk out with the title. To be honest, Dom's reign has really been, like, shaky at best, I feel like. He hasn't really done anything too crazy. And let's just give Styles a title, because I feel like the title's getting a little stagnant, and we may need some, like, a big dog to hold it again. Dom, it was a good run. He'll have another run, I'm sure, within the future. But right now, the phenomenal one is gonna show us and show Dominic Mysterio why he is phenomenal indeed, guys. I'm telling you, he got this. Now, the next matchup is for the women's IC title. And this one has no countouts, no DQs. And it is Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. This matchup has been getting heated since after Mania. It's just been going more and more, I think, through the roof. There's so much story behind it. There's so many things going with it. Now, I thought Lyra was going to take the title here. I am going to actually switch up, and I think Becky retains. I think she's going to beat Lyra. Obviously, Lyra can't challenge for the title again, then that's fine. We've seen this type of stipulation, and we've seen it where, okay, the person who can't challenge for a little bit. Eventually, Becky may lose the title to someone else. That brings Lyra into the mix again. Maybe that's the route I think they may take. I was convinced Lyra had this matchup, hands down. Something on Raw just made me feel like maybe Becky has a chance of retaining here. And I feel like at SummerSlam, her record's pretty damn good. So I'm just not gonna be surprised if Becky indeed goes in as Women's IC champ and walks out with her IC title as well. I would not be surprised at all. Another heated rivalry is the one happening within the bloodline of the bloodlines. Like, there's just so much going on. Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa, the U.S. champ. And yes, it's happening in a steel cage for the U.S. title. In my opinion now, this matchup is going to be lit. I want to see Jacob Fatu do some wild stuff in that cage. Now, I don't think he wins. I think Solo's going to obviously have his backup. Maybe even Fatu has a little bit of backup in, like, Jimmy Uso, Big Jim. Maybe Big Jim comes out, because we've seen them kind of low-key helping each other out lately. So, I can see that happening. Now, my thing is, I keep hearing about this guy, Zilla Fatu. Maybe he actually shows up. Maybe he shows up to not join Jacob Fatu, but actually join Solo. That would make Solo's group a little bit bigger. But again, I just don't know how it's going to be going forward. I think things are going to be a little bit different. And I think Solo has honestly grown on me. I'm gonna give Solo the US title retain on this one. Yeah, I think Fatu is primed and ready to keep basically climbing the ladder. I don't think they want him stuck with a mid card title at the moment. They just want him to kind of just do a bunch of rivalries, establish himself a little bit more, and then we go from there. I think that's the move for Jacob Fatu's future. Solo's future is controlling the US title, and him and his MFTs can run SmackDown, I guess. I guess that's the move right there. Maybe we see another member join as well on SummerSlam. I do think he retains. Now, for the main event, it's a street fight for the undisputed WWE title. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Now, Cena's farewell tour has been interesting to say the least. Um, I think, I think that, I think that he does lose here. Now, he loses here, however, he's going to turn into a face. I do not see John Cena finishing his career as a heel. I just don't think it's a thing. It's not going to be feasible, and I don't think that's what the people want either. I don't even think that's what John Cena wants. I like that he went heel. I'm sure that's what he wanted to do, and he was like, yo, let's switch it up just because it's my last year here. But we need face Cena to end it off, man. Let's be real. We know it. I don't mind the heel Cena, to be honest. He's really reminding me of Peacemaker. But honestly speaking, Cena's got to turn face. We're gonna get a double face turn here. I'm gonna go with what I think has been just itching me. Cody, he's gonna win the title, and then afterwards, maybe he does the low blow deal to Cena type of situation. Cena tries to extend his hand. He beats the hell out of Cena. So something in that sense. Maybe we see interference happen and Cody aligns himself with someone. That could be a thing always. I'm not saying. I am saying it could be the final boss. Why lie? But is it truthfully going to be the final boss? I'm not sure, and I don't know. Right? However, what I do know is I just feel like. So I'm kind of looking ahead. WrestleMania, next one. I think, and I heard just from some sources, rumors, that WWE is going to try to run Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 3. Now, that makes sense because the moniker that Roman has come back with, OTC1, Cody's known as QB1, just his nickname, but that's interesting to me. If they're going to run that back, they can't run it with Roman being a heel and Cody being a face. Again, that's kind of like a closed chapter, I feel like, at this point. You got to switch the roles, which Roman is a face and Cody is a face. I don't see him doing a face versus face matchup. So the only things left is turning Cody heel, and he would need the title. So maybe he does win the title at SummerSlam. Maybe he does turn heel. And then that leads to John Cena turning face. And then we see Cena and his tour continue from there on out. We see Cody come out with a heel persona. Maybe he turns heel and then he disappears to not have to answer to anybody. Shows up on a SmackDown afterwards, says, hey, I don't have to answer anyone, and leaves. Maybe he doesn't say anything and he leaves. Goes to record. Obviously, we all know, him and Roman have the Street Fighter movie to go record and, go do that. So while they're doing that, they'll need some time away. Maybe that's a way of Cody, quote unquote, saying, screw you guys. I'm not going to say anything unless it's my time. We could see something like that, in my opinion. Of course, Cena turning a face, and then he has a bunch of open rivalries and things that he can do. I don't think that should be a big deal. See, someone mentioned what if Cena retains and then Cody still turns heel. I could see that happening. Maybe Cody actually loses straight up in the street fight, that he made it a street fight for his advantage, but it didn't work. Loses. He goes berserk on Cena after the match, and then that's that. right? We see a heel Cody going forward, but then my ask is, when does Cena lose the title? Like, I think him losing the title is a big situation as well. He doesn't have a lot of time left. Let's just be real. Like, there's just not a lot of time left right now for John Cena's tour. I know we're in July only, or August at this point, basically. But that doesn't mean, like, Cena's just gonna be available and fighting every week or showing up and doing this and that. I think a lot of it's going to be more about, him just cutting promos, having matches on the main PLEs. I think there's only like a handful of them left, anyways. Now, you know what? I'm gonna go with my original. I think double double turn here. Cena goes into a face. Cody turns heel. Cody wins the title. Disappears for a little bit to do his movie, and then once the movie's done, he'll be back and we'll get the whole shebang of it. Maybe even he returns with the black hair. I think that would be dope. That'd be cool. Starts wearing like different color, like more like, I don't know, more darker shaded suits or something. I don't know, whatever. But like, I think he does come with the black hair. That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind it. But hey, guys, yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the bonus episode. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the love and all the subscribes and likes, man. Don't forget to keep them coming. Tell your friends and family about the show. We're up and growing, when brand new, and I appreciate everything. Thank you so much. That is, all in all, my predictions of SummerSlam, the 2-night event happening in MetLife Stadium. You guys enjoy SummerSlam as much as I will. Have a good week. Have a good SummerSlam weekend. And don't forget to subscribe and like, guys. Stay tuned.